This is my hotel room. With very minimal luggage because it got stuck in Amsterdam. It's still all there. So I have these boots as my only pairs of shoes. But look at these. I love these beautiful Italian shutters that they all have here. So they're double shutters and it looks out onto the street below. Yep, still got my boots on, and those socks were too hot, so good thing they gave me a pair of socks on the flight. So these ones are nice and thin. At least they're a fresh pair of socks. They don't match at all, but hey, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, or just do whatever you've got means to. Good thing that most people here in Italy are actually dressed like with their big coats on, like it's full-on winter. I guess the temperate weather here is not as cold, and I don't know, Italians will probably find any reason to dress up. So I don't feel too overdressed, which is a good thing, but I'm still gonna go and enjoy a great dinner out because it is my first night in Florence and my Sorel boots are not gonna stop me. So I'm gonna go out and try and find an amazing place to eat for dinner, and I'll see you in a bit. Hello, my friends. I hope you're doing well. I am here in Florence, Italy, shooting a client project. I'm here to create an artist retreat video for my client, Roxanne Steed. But I came to Florence a few days early so that I could have some time to explore and also get some new branded photography. I certainly didn't want to do the thing that I used to do in the past, which is just land, shoot the project, and then go home without really seeing the town or the city that I'm in at all, especially in Italy. My luggage arrived, although I may or may not have gone shopping too. After a day of settling in, I took the train to Cinque Terre, which is a series of towns along the coast north of Florence. And it was an incredible experience. And I've seen photos before of the area, but just being there and being a part of the magic and feeling the energy of those towns was something that I hope the new photos can convey to you. So I had hired a local photographer. We walked all over Cinque Terre. He actually took me to 3 separate towns: Rio Maggiore, yeah, that's it, and Manarola and Vernazza. And each of them have their own distinct little look. So that evening I decided to stay in a little town called Moniglia, which is on the very northern tip of Cinque Terre, where the photographer's family actually runs a bed and breakfast. Because of the train schedule, I would either take the last train out and come back to Florence, but then miss golden hour, which is kind of like the whole point of getting photos done. So at the end of our photo shoot, we took the train to Moniglia, where I checked into the B&B, and his family had also recommended a restaurant for me to check out, which was amazing. But the most beautiful thing about that town, and even though it was pitch black by the time that I had arrived, you could still see from the silhouettes and the moonlight the glorious beauty of that town. The moonlight had lit up the sky, but you could see these jutting mountains, silhouettes all around me. And you can also hear the water of little creeks going through. And it was just a very peaceful and quaint little town. Even though it was nighttime, there were still lots of families out with their little kids running around and grannies riding their bikes. And as I was walking from the B&B to the restaurant, I passed by a little piano bar where there was a gathering of local elders and they were all singing and laughing in Italian. And it just instilled this feeling in my heart of, man, I really want to have that kind of community when I'm old and gray. You know, it's something that I think as Americans and in the West, we tend to insulate ourselves. We prioritize having a big house, having, our own belongings. And in some ways, we miss out on the real person community and dynamics that is so much richer here, especially in smaller towns in Europe. And I would say smaller towns probably all over the world. The next morning, when it was still dark and early, I took a train ride back to Florence, where then I would prepare for a photo shoot in Florence in the evening, well, late afternoon anyways. So I met up with, again, another local photographer here. And by the way, I found all these photographers on Airbnb experiences. So many of you know Airbnb as a place where you can find a place to stay. But Airbnb also has amazing experiences where you can be hosted by local families. And I know just here in Florence, you can, make pasta dinners, or you can have photographs taken, or you can have a tour in a family vineyard. So take advantage of that option that is there for you, because it can really connect you with not only amazing communities and individuals that you might not ever meet otherwise, but it also just gives your whole travel experience a new dimension that you wouldn't normally have if you were just walking around solo. So I met this photographer at a courtyard that's just close to here, and we kind of walked in a big loop where we took photos along the way, and then we ended in a beautiful rooftop terrace here in Florence with this incredible view of the entire city. And I think this is also one of the advantages of hiring local. I don't think a foreign photographer would know how to access that terrace or even know that it existed, right? They would be sticking to more of the more common areas and more common shots, which then creates more common images. And not that I would be bringing over my own photographer, but I think that this just really highlights how important it is to connect with locals, because they can really show you things that you would never be able to find out on your own. And now today is my last day here in Florence before I'm going to be meeting my client and her students, and we're going to head out to the countryside of Tuscany. But we're going to be staying in these 600-year-old villas, which I'm so excited to see and to experience with my client and her students. And I'm just really, really grateful for this whole experience. I think in entrepreneurship, there's that saying that, the only reason why somebody is successful is because they didn't give up. And I think that's only part of the truth, because we don't want to just keep pushing on something that is hard or makes us miserable. We want to be able to access the joy and the freedom and the things that you value. The sooner the better, right? So I think, in my opinion, when it comes to entrepreneurship, one of the most important keys to success is stepping into the person that you know that you are meant to become, and making decisions from that place and not from where you are today. Being really brave and courageous in your next steps. So sometimes we have the tendency to play small and to not even consciously know that we're playing small, but we just keep doing the things that we're comfortable with doing, whether or not that's actually a smart business move or not, right? And I've seen this over and over again, and I've seen it in my own business. But that's actually repeating the same actions, and so you're going to find yourself in the same situations, the same kinds of clients, and that's ultimately what keeps you stuck too. It's believing that you can't go beyond a certain level, whether it's conscious or unconscious, and so we create this stuckness in our business. But when we are willing to let go of what is rational or what we will think should work or will work, and we step out onto the edge of a cliff and we say that this is the vision that I want to create, this is the version of me that I want to step into, and I'm just gonna take that step, even though I have no physical evidence at all that this is even gonna work. I think having that bold courageousness and that utter trust in yourself is absolutely required for success. And in the beginning, you may struggle with believing in yourself or backing yourself. I notice that's another big thing. Maybe we'll take the big leap, but then if everything doesn't go just perfectly, we'll say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. When instead, we should be backing ourselves, saying that I am so glad I did that. I'm so proud of myself for taking a big leap. And even if things didn't work out perfectly, which by the way, they never do the first few times, right? That was a decision that I made to step into my next level. And you should be proud of yourself for that, right? Those moments where we take the leap, where we believe in ourselves, where we back ourselves, those are going to move your business forward much more quickly than simply saying, I'm just going to stick with it for a long time. So I hope that this is helpful for you. I can't wait to share more of the behind the scenes from the countryside of Tuscany, where I'm sure it'll be very different views and a very different experience. That's when I'll be stepping out from, being in front of the camera and taking photos here in Florence and being behind the camera. So I'm looking forward to sharing more of that with you. Until then, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you really soon. Mwah! Bye for now.